everyone. FinanceFeeds is back here at Fintech Unplugged event in Limassol, Cyprus. I'm joined now by Alexei Sidorov, who is Chief Financial Officer at Cryptopay. Alexei, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
So I want to get some insights about crypto from you as being, CEO of a company called Cryptopay.
Yeah.
I think my first question is something that's been asked over and over and over in so many different ways, right? What advantages do cryptocurrencies offer over traditional fiat currencies in a broad sense?
Well,
Your perspective.
yeah, although a very common question, still a very good one.
Yeah.
I would say two things. First is the speed.
Uh-huh.
Cryptocurrency transactions are way faster than traditional fiat ones, especially when it comes to international funds transferring funds between different jurisdictions. Crypto flows in seconds, while SWIFT can go like days or sometimes even weeks.
Yep.
Especially with the restrictive banking regulations. So it's way faster and also cheaper. Cryptocurrency transactions, they imply less transactional fees. I'm not saying it's kind of for free, but definitely it's a significant economy for the clients, for our merchants, for the businesses we work with. We see that they more and more start using cryptocurrencies for their international payments and for their processing and collections, just to achieve some economy on costs and get more success rates from the transactions and kind of just get the money faster where you want them to be.
Yeah.
Without extensive hassle with the traditional banking system.
Yeah. Do you think that as cryptocurrencies and the ecosystem, let's say the crypto ecosystem, stable coins, as they evolve, do you think that the pricing of transactions will actually decrease because basically the infrastructure will grow? Basically, some of the roadblocks or friction, let's say, that exists within, there's different blockchains and all of that. Do you think that the costs will maybe decrease over time? That's just a hypothetical. I don't know. As a layperson.
Well, as a CFO, as a representative of a crypto processing business, I wouldn't want it to decrease. But what we see at the moment and what we have seen recently on the market, yeah, of course, it's decreasing. As the adoption of cryptocurrencies rises,
yeah,
as more and more companies and more people start using cryptocurrencies, there are more settlement options, more providers, more competitors on the market. So some transactional cost will still be there.
Sure.
Because, there is an underlying cost to it.
Of course.
We pay to our providers. We work with different IT and security suppliers that deal with the infrastructure, and we're in charge of the security of funds. It all costs money.
Yeah, of course.
But looking at the market, what it was 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, now it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, to what level?
Yeah.
So I think some reasonable level will be reached, and then it will be mutually beneficial for both businesses like us and the clients, because even though the transactional fees will be less, since the adoption will be bigger and since the turnover will be bigger.
Yeah, the volumes are.
Yeah,
will still increase further and further.
Yeah, we'll still have some share of it, and hopefully we'll be able to proceed in the same way as we did.
I want to talk a little bit about, let's say, traditional CFD brokers, right? People within, let's say, the Forex and CFD industry. I guess from your perspective, what challenges do these types of companies face when they want to integrate crypto payments as part of their existing systems, right? They're used to credit cards, debit cards, payment systems like Skrill or Wise or Revolut or whatever it may be. But now they are essentially forced to really adopt crypto because their traders are asking for it, and it's becoming something that is very, very important, I think, for them to also grow. But kind of what challenges are you seeing in terms of your customers and your experience?
I think I would highlight kind of three main ones. The first would be the IT part of it, kind of the integration itself. So the way it works with the crypto processing providers is similar to how it works with traditional providers like Skrill. So it's still payment links, it's still widgets, it's still this ways of accepting payments from your end users. But the underlying technology and the underlying funds flow is different. That's why it is important to establish the way how the product is integrated with a crypto processor in the most efficient and, just secure way. And yeah, I'm saying secure, and that's actually the second point I wanted to highlight. This is tremendously important. Many companies on the market are providing crypto processing and various crypto services.
Yes.
And even some CFD brokers or other businesses, they are sometimes thinking about developing their own solution. And we talked to several. And the major concern is always the security. You can develop your own solution. You can use somebody who is cheap and who is new to the market, but you don't want your funds to go away in kind of just in a while because somebody fucked up with the code or made a mistake. And we saw it many times. We have like more than 10 years history of operations now. We've been making mistakes through this history.
We all
as everybody.
That's the way you learn.
But now we definitely know how to do it so that the funds are secure and so that the providers can trust us. So this is the second point. And the third is obviously the compliance part. I mean, compliance is always in any discussion.
Yes, that's true.
It is important to integrate with a provider who has the right balance between compliance as an instrument to prevent really illicit activity that you don't want to see on your platform, and the compliance that would basically stop all your business and all of transactions.
Right.
This is very important because you can integrate, you can have it secure, but if compliance will be stopping all of your transactions or blocking all of your funds or asking you questions, how is it different from traditional finance?
Yeah. You're right. And I think that also has to do with the regulatory regimes around the world, right? Our previous guest, Marina, we just discussed, you have, if we compare, right, you have the SEC in the US, you have MiCA, that's a brand new framework in Europe, but it seems very fragmented.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's there, but there's many things that need to get cleaned up. Then you have, let's say, VARA in UAE. Then you have things like in Asia, you have Hong Kong, you have other jurisdictions that are like, hey, we want to also take advantage of this in our local region, but it's also fragmented. So the US has its own rules or doesn't really have a unified kind of system, right, of rules yet. We don't know who is responsible for what. Europe seems like it kind of rolled something out, right? Seems like there's good news coming out of Dubai with VARA, right? And stuff in Asia. But again, like you said, I mean, compliance has to understand all of these nuances and understand what's right, what can be done and can't be done in different localities.
That's very true. That's very true. And we are on the both sides of this equation. So we are, as a provider, we are in charge of a compliance to our clients, but we also have other providers and other partners like banks and others who are doing compliance towards us. And sometimes what I see, I don't want to do that to my clients.
Of
never.
course.
This is how it should not be done. And, I mean, it's always a hot topic. I always will be.
Of course. Well, we talked about challenges.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask, how can crypto payments actually help Forex and CFD brokers expand globally, and sort of expand their global reach? Because when I think about this question, I think about untapped markets, the US, Europe, the UK, in terms of traditional Forex and CFDs, it's done. It's saturated, right? We all know kind of, and Asia to a large extent. But now you have LATAM, you have Africa. Before, people used to talk about, they are sort of debanked, or let's say financial literacy, and they're debanked, right? They don't have even the infrastructure in place, let's say. Do crypto payments offer sort of a gateway to Forex and CFD brokers to reach new customers? For example, in regions like, let's say, LATAM or Africa, or maybe parts of Asia that are still kind of, not largely saturated with activity.
That's what we actually have recently done to a couple of our large clients when they came to us and said, okay, guys, we want to go to this or that market, and we want to, the fastest go to market as possible. So yeah, they are establishing connections with the local banks, with the local alternative payment methods. But if they want to be there, like, in the shortest possible route, accepting payments in crypto would be that. Of course, crypto is still on its way to a global adoption.
Yes.
And we obviously realize that, 10% of the turnover will be in crypto, still 90% will be in traditional payment methods, because even though the target audience might be underbanked or not able to use the traditional fiat, it doesn't mean that they are well informed about crypto and how to use crypto. So they need to be taught, they need to learn how to get this crypto, how to use it, etc. But with those who already do, it's just like this. They send USDT. It can be instantly converted into the specific local currency if they want to see their deposit denominated in the local currency, and that's it. We're handling FX, we're handling the transfer costs. So, and then sometimes it comes to expatriating these funds from these jurisdictions and from transferring funds from one jurisdiction to another. And here, where kind of this global reach also comes handy, because, you collected lots of funds in a specific jurisdiction or geography, and you want to send them to your headquarters, let's say somewhere in Europe. When you use crypto as an intermediary, stablecoin payments, it all works like charm. You send it, then on the recipient side, you exchange it, you deposit it to your bank account, everybody is happy, compliance is happy, bank is happy. Same transaction, but without unnecessary hassle.
It sounds like, if you're just starting out and you want to launch a Forex or CFD broker in some of these jurisdictions, you can literally launch without actually having the infrastructure to accept fiat, but to accept crypto initially.
Yeah.
Right? Because
you test that,
so that you can accept deposit.
Yeah, you test your hypothesis, you test the case, you see if there is really a market for you, because you never know. I mean, of course, you have some expectations from the market, but you can never know. You want to test it, and you want to test it as quickly as possible so that not to burn a lot of investment on that. Yep. So you can integrate crypto, try using it, you see the demand, go with the traditional payments, go with everything else. But it's definitely the fastest way to the market.
Great. Awesome. Well, Alexei, I know it's a busy event, and I know this was a bit last minute for you as well, but I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, to give me your insights, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And
thank you.
Hopefully, we'll all enjoy the event tonight, and good luck to you and to Cryptopay. Hopefully, we can chat sometime in the future about the evolution of crypto as it evolves.
I would love to. It's been a pleasure.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.